Hello my beautiful book besties and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be chatting about my April TBR. I feel like it has been so long and yet no time has passed at all from me sitting down to talk to you guys about my March TBR, but will I ever film and upload a TBR video on time? Probably not, but I'm trying, okay? I'm trying. Let's just get right into the video. I'm going to talk about the 6 library books that I got and I'm planning on reading in April, and then also go through the books that I'm currently in the middle of reading and books that I have on Libby or just books that are higher up on my radar currently. I either got them from the library or I have a Libby hold that's gonna expire soon, so I need to read these books. The first book that I'm planning on reading in April is my Fables book club book. We ended up voting for The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. This cover screams spring. It is a cozy fantasy and that's all I know about it. I don't know if there's a subplot of romance in here. All I know is the cover is beautiful and it's what you guys voted for in the book club. If you guys want to join my book club, I will have the link to join in my description. It is free and fun and I highly recommend you join. You don't have to read the books that we read every month. If you just want to use the chat to talk about current reads or get book recs, you can definitely do that. Next up, I have Reckless by Lauren Roberts. Now, am I a huge Powerless fan? No, but I did read Powerless. I do already own this book and I do want to just finish up this series this month. I don't know if I'm going to get to the 3rd book because I don't own it yet. I really don't want to have spoilers, so I feel like I'm a little late to the game with this one. I do want to get to it. I do have the audiobook for this on Libby, which is why I'm going to read it this month because there is a wait to get this audiobook and I don't want to have it expire and then have to wait to get it again. I really enjoyed the audiobook version of Powerless and I'm hoping that Reckless also has the same people who voiced the first audiobook. I like immersive reading those books because of the narrators being just very talented, and an actual man speaks the male POV and a female speaks the female main character's POV, so it's not like a woman just goes and then he grazed his hand on my cheek and they try to talk like with a male voice. It just doesn't work for me. So I'm really hoping that a male narrates that one like he did in the first one because that audiobook, chef's kiss. Another audiobook that I have on Libby that I also own is Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. I've heard that this is a spectacular audiobook, so I do plan on immersive reading this as well. If you don't know, immersive reading is where you listen to the audiobook while you read the physical book at the same time just to get like a more immersive reading experience. I have not read a thriller in quite a while and I just felt like reading one, so I put the hold on this for Libby like 2 months ago and it just came now, so I was like, okay, I guess now is the time that I'm going to be reading this one. But originally I had actually picked The Fury to read as my thriller for the month because this takes place, I believe, on an island. I feel like it's kind of giving spring vibes. Sometimes with thrillers, you know, you kind of just want to read them in the fall time, but I feel like this is a good one to read for the spring or summer because it does take place during that time of year on an island. So I thought that would be really fun, and I recently read The Silent Patient by him. That was a 5-star read, so I saw this half off, brand new at Barnes & Noble, and it was a signed edition, so I picked that one up and I'm very intrigued because it has had mixed reviews from what I've seen, but I feel like it's just going to be a good thriller for the season, so I chose that one. By the way, if you couldn't tell, I didn't use like a TBR jar or any sort of prompt or have anybody else pick for me. I just felt like mood reading for the month, so all of these picks are just mood reads or what has become available on Libby or at my library. Next, I have The Assassin's Blade. I read the first 40 pages of this a very long time ago and just softy enoughed it because I wasn't in the mood for fantasy, but I'm very, very, very highly in a fantasy mood right now, so I figured I would just go ahead and bite the bullet and start this series this month. I've been putting it off because I feel like I'm going to absolutely love it and I wanted to savor starting it. For some reason, I feel like, you know, you never know whenever you're gonna for sure get a good book or a good series, and I know that that one is gonna be a good series, so I wanted to just savor it, but I just need to get to it. I own all of the books. I am very, very intrigued. Everybody says it's like a 5-star, 6-star series and I want to be in on the lore and I want to understand. So we're gonna start that one this month. I want to try to read maybe like 1 book a month. We'll see. I'm excited and equally terrified to get into the Throne of Glass series. I know some people say you shouldn't start with this one. Some people say you really need to start with this one. I'm just gonna go ahead and try starting with this one and we'll see how it goes. Besides all of the library books, all of these few books that I own, I'm actually in the middle of reading. I don't know if I'm gonna continue reading them this month, but they could be potential reads. The Wish by Nicholas Sparks. I filmed a Booktubers Choose My March TBR video a while ago, but I did not end up finishing my March TBR because this was my first time doing solo parenting for like 3 weeks straight. My husband, if you guys don't know, he is in the Navy. He's on an aircraft carrier and they are currently doing their workups, which is where they go out for a short period of time and then they come back, and then shortly after they go out again, and that lasts for like a year before their big deployment for like 6 to 9 months. So we're currently in the workup phase right now. So every month I'm going to be solo parenting at some point, and I have just not had time to read as much because I've been prioritizing making sure I'm still cooking healthy meals, staying on top of cleaning, and we've just had a lot of doctor's appointments and have been doing more writing. So my free time to read in March was like non-existent, but I am planning on continuing those books into the month of April because I'm already in the middle of filming a reading vlog of those books, and this is one of those books. I think I'm on page 40, and so far I'm really liking it, and I feel like it's going to be a tearjerker. It might make me cry. Nicholas Sparks just does that. Next up, Crooked Kingdom. I've been reading this book for like 3 months at this point. I'm 50% in. I'm on page 275. I'm not DNFing it by any means. It's almost the opposite. I just love how Leigh Bardugo created this world and these characters, and I'm kind of just savoring this book. But at this point, it's kind of pathetic. It's been going on for way too long, and I actually just need to finish it. So hopefully April will be the month where I actually go ahead and just finish this book and have the duology be over, which is sad to say, but I can't keep holding out, okay? It's getting pathetic. Same thing with this one, but there's actually a better reason behind it. This is Trust by Dr. Henry Cloud. Again, I've been reading this for months and months and months. Milo. My dog is rolling around like a nutball. But Trust by Dr. Henry Cloud. This is a nonfiction book. It is a Christian, I wouldn't say self-help, but it kind of is a self-help. I don't even know how to describe what I'm feeling when I'm reading this book. I just feel like I really need to meditate on what I'm reading so that I can remember it and apply his advice in real life. I just really, really love this book. Not to be dramatic, but it's not dramatic because it's true. This book has changed my life in the way that I look at trusting people. Everything that he's said, I just feel like I really need to soak in and remember. So I've been taking my time reading this book. So I don't feel bad that it's been taking me months to read this because I feel like it's justified and I'm taking good notes and I'm making sure that I'm applying it to my life. But needless to say, that one's gonna be a 5-star, and I would highly, highly recommend it if that sounds like something that you need in your life. We'll see if April is the month that I finish it. I think I'm like 60% of the way through. I'm not entirely sure. There's different sections in the book. You don't have to read it from start to finish. So I've kind of been jumping around the sections a little bit. But next up, Legendary. I'm definitely going to have this one finished within the next couple of days. I'm on page 175, listening to the audiobook version of this on Libby, and I'm also reading this. This is my current nighttime book. I feel like with the Caraval series, you can read it and kind of have your brain turned off a little bit. It doesn't require a lot of, I need to really pay attention to these words. It's just kind of a fun time. So this has been my before bedtime book, but I have the audiobook on Libby and it's going to expire soon. So I've been listening to this while I'm doing my cleaning and whenever I'm cooking. So I know that this one is going to be finished. Unpopular opinion, I'm not entirely loving the Caraval trilogy. I think it's too hyped up for what it is. I am going to continue it and finish it because I do own all of the books and I do want to read them all before I get into the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. Another book that was mentioned in my March TBR that a booktuber chose for me, Eleanor Oliphant, is Completely Fine. I have not gotten to this one yet, but I will get to it this month. It's about a socially awkward somebody and her life. That's kind of all I know, but that's kind of all I needed to know. I'm sold. I'm still currently reading The Hobbit, still currently on page 45, but this book will be in a reading vlog, reading The Hobbit for the first time, and once I finish that, I am going to read the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and that will for sure be in a reading vlog. Another book that I'm currently in the middle of reading, I've really been mood reading, if you cannot tell, to an extreme level, which is why now I'm in the middle of like, I don't know, like 10 books, 11 books, but this is Songs of Home by Valerie M. Bodden. I'm on page 105 right now, and this is a continuation of the River Falls series. I forget what the first book is called. Promises of Forever. I enjoyed that one. I gave it like a 3.75, I would say. Cute and easy to read Christian romance, and so far I'm actually liking this one better than the first one. This one is about a famous country singer. She ends up running into this guy who we had met in the first novel. His wife died years ago. He is solo parenting a 16-year-old girl and he's just kind of going through it. They have this crazy meet cute. She runs out from her concert because she found out that her fiance was cheating on her with her best friend. Eventually he takes her home, chit chat in the backyard for a while, and then they go their separate ways. They end up having some forced proximity because she ends up coming to his small town. So really enjoying this one so far. We'll see how it turns out. But again, I'm definitely going to have this one finished in April because it's very short and sweet. Those are all of the books that I own that are on my radar for April. Now let's get into the 6 books that I got from the library that are like super high up on my radar. First is Deep Cuts by Holly Brickley. I saw this in my new arrival section of my local library and it was sitting there on a single stand just like this, and the cover really caught my eye, but I went there to get other books, so I didn't end up getting that one because I didn't want to get too many. A few weeks go by and I see Haley Pham's new video, and she read this and gave it 5 stars. And she said that the prose is very, very unique and interesting. The characters kind of give Daisy Jones and the Six vibes. That was enough for me to go back to my library and see if this was there. Fully anticipated it for it to be gone because it's kind of been not going viral, but it's kind of been trending a little bit. I've been seeing it pop up in numerous places, but it was actually sitting in the exact same spot as I found it weeks ago. So I was like, okay, I'll get it. It's under 300 pages, so I feel like I could get through this one fairly quickly, especially since there is a then and now timeline and the prose is very unique. Those two things coupled together really make a book bingeable for me. It's been a while since I've read a historical fiction / literary fiction, and I have high hopes for that one. Now, completely shifting gears, okay? I'm a very versatile reader. We have The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This is an epic, epic, epic fantasy. I think it's grimdark, but I'm not exactly sure if it is or not. These are not available on Kindle Unlimited, and I want to get the UK covers because I like those better. So I figured I would just pick this up from my local library just to see how I'm liking it. I'm fully anticipating I will, but I just want to make sure because I don't buy books brand new very often at all because it's a lot of money. So I want to make sure that I'm gonna like it. Wait. Did I mention that I'm in the middle? No, I didn't. I forgot to mention that I'm in the middle of reading. Let me grab it. Okay, I'm not gonna grab it because it's in like a middle of a book stack here. I just got done filming 3 separate videos, so I literally have a whole desk full of books here that I had talked about for future videos. I'm not gonna go digging, but it is the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. I think the first book is called The Eye of the World, but I'm currently 15 pages into that one. I think it's gonna take me a really long time to read that just because I'm dissecting the literature aspect of how it's written, because it is a very, very highly acclaimed high fantasy, epic fantasy, and I'm currently in the middle of writing my own fantasy and really want to understand what makes the iconic high fantasies work. So I'm really taking my time with that one, really enjoying it so far. Even though I'm only on page 15, I'm already invested and I already feel like I understand what's going on. It's just a thick book with a lot of words, so it's gonna take me a long time to read that. There is 15 books and they're all very, very, very fat. So, continuing, Mistborn. I want to get into the Cosmere this month. This is another chunky book. This is by Brandon Sanderson. He's a very prolific writer. He writes very large books in very high quantities, and he's one of the GOATs. I'm listening to his lectures at BYU right now and just hearing how he talks about how he writes his novels. Very, very intriguing. He suggests starting off with Mistborn, which is the first book in the Cosmere series. I put a hold on that at my library and it became available a couple days ago, so I was like, okay, this is a lot of starting fantasy series. I'm in the middle of a lot of series right now, so I probably shouldn't do that, but like I really want to do it, so I'm gonna do it. So I did. Next, I don't know if this is a series or a standalone. This is The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. This was described to me as Bridgerton, but make it YA in a fantasy world, and that was all I needed to know. I feel like this is gonna be a great book to read in the springtime just because the plot and the cover is really giving spring. Same thing with this one, Wings of Starlight by Allison Saft. People have been like crying over this book, rating it 5 stars because they loved Tinkerbell as a child, and this has like a nostalgia factor for them, but that's why it's like not necessarily putting me off. Like I am intrigued to read it. I picked it up and I want to read it, but I don't have that same level of nostalgia because that's not something that I really watched as a child. I don't have that childhood stake already in the game to make me love this as much as somebody else would, but the reviews were raving enough to convince me to pick it up, and I am intrigued. So Wings of Starlight by Allison Saft. And the last book that I picked up at the library for my April TBR is Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. I don't know if I'm going to read Mistborn or Tress of the Emerald Sea first. I think I'm personally more excited to read Mistborn just because it's more of an epic fantasy and it has a really unique magic system and it's complicated. There's a heist, there's a lot of stuff going on. To me, that's more intriguing, but I feel like Tress of the Emerald Sea would be best to read during the springtime. It's mystical and fun and more lighthearted. I feel like this would just be a good one to read for spring, so I was really excited to see that they had this one. So these are the 6 library books that I found that hopefully I will be reading in the month of April. I'm not about to attempt to pick this up, but these are all of the books that I'm still currently in the middle of that I had not finished last month or that I have holds for that should be listened to by the end of the month. Fully know that I'm probably only gonna read like 6 to 8 books probably this month, and I talked about way more than that, but you know, I'm a mood reader. I like to have options, so these are our options for the month. Before you guys go, let me know which books you are planning on reading in April, and if you've read any of these and loved them, let me know as well so I know which ones to read first. But thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I pray you have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!